Well, hello there, it's Beards and Bangers, and it's another glorious day, or it will be when the temperature gets up a bit. Today I'm on a road trip and we're going to see how economical a BMW 330d actually is. So I try not to do too much content on this car because I know you really want to see the MG Rover stuff, but we've got a 3-litre diesel BMW, so not the heaviest car in the world, but also not the lightest. The claimed MPG on these is a lot higher than I'm getting, so I'm going to jump inside and show you what I've got, and I'll give you the parameters for my fuel economy challenge. There's a bit of a scuff there. No, just dirt and detritus. So just jump in the car a sec. I've got it running just to warm up. Just straighten my wheels. So if you look at the dashboard, let's turn the radio off for a sec. If we look at the dashboard, I've got another camera mounted there for the journey, but we've currently got 33.8 MPG. So why is it so low? We should be north of 50 really. It's because I'm driving it round the town. I'm driving it round the town, so Aylesbury is pretty congested, so it's very stop-starty. I'm driving to my unit. That's not a straightforward drive. It's not, not economical driving, up and down hills, twists and turns, getting out of Aylesbury. It's about 12 miles away, so it's the majority of the journeys I do in this car are short on inefficient roads. So I don't actually know what this car can do. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go around to the fuel station and brim the car with diesel. So we've got a full tank. Obviously that adds weight, so that's going to have a negative effect on the fuel economy. We'll then reset that dial. So it's currently 33.8, as you saw a second ago. So we'll reset that dial, and then I'll get up to Yorkshire. So I'm heading for sort of Barnsley, Sheffield area. So the parameters are, I'm just going to drive normally. I'm not going to be caning it, because this thing can go pretty quick if you put your foot down. I'm not going to do that. You can't, because I'm going for the majority of the journey on the M1. I've got a 25-mile drive from my house to the M1, so that's cross country. So I'm expecting really crap fuel economy getting from Aylesbury to junction 15 of the M1. Just accept that. It is what it is. Got to get out of Aylesbury. It's actually the shortest route out of Aylesbury, to be fair, going that way. Very cross country, bumpy, windy roads, hills, stop start. So we know the fuel economy is going to get hammered. Now I'll update you through that as we go along the journey. And then I get to junction 15 and I'm on the M1. And now my plans have changed. I'm actually going I've got half a day off today, so I've got part work, part pleasure. So I've got a lunch meeting at 1 o'clock, so I've got to be there fairly swiftly, so I can't dawdle too much. But I'll be on the M1 for the majority of the journey, so it'd be interesting to see once we get to Wortley Hall, which is where I'm having lunch today. It'll be interesting to see where the fuel economy actually is. So I'm going to head round to the garage and get the car fueled up, and then we shall start this journey. Right, so I'm all fueled up. I'm going to reset the MPG by just holding down the top button. I think that's reset. No, that's not done that properly. So we just hold down on my indicator stalk the top button there, and that's reset. So that's now gonna give us a more accurate reading. I'm going to turn them. So yeah, here we are, just in the beautiful Buckinghamshire Common. It's very pretty, but the roads are not that great, as you will see on the dash camera that I've set up. Oh, sorry, the instrument cluster camera. Because we've just reset the speedo 10 minutes ago. Reset the MPG reader. Sorry, it's kind of fluctuating quite a lot. So we're now just about north of where I started, 33.8. See, if I just take my foot off the throttle, it shoots up. So it's not really giving us a true average yet. But I think by the time we get to the M1, it's going to be probably around the same, because we've got so many kind of lanes to go down and so many, bit stop-starty. And I will pause in a bit and just show you some other parameters that I'm doing. So there's some rules that I'm setting myself for this challenge. so that it's you know, normal. I'm not going to be hypermiling or anything like that. I'm not going to be up lorries' backsides to, you know, to sort of get in their slipstream and get a few more MPG by doing that. Just normal driving. I'll be going at the speed limit or less. I'm not going to be going deliberately slowly, so deliberately like 56 miles an hour. But I'll show you some of the other, I'll just make it interesting for you. I'll just show you what I'm going to use as well as a driving mode. So we'll get a bit further on. I don't know how well the camera's picking up, but just the slightly misty morning up here, but the sun's beginning to burn through. It is this part of Buckinghamshire, so the countryside sort of Aylesbury and north, it's just gorgeous. I'm very lucky to live where I live and to have been born and brought up round here as well. It's nice, that's for sure. So I'll just talk you through where we are. So we just come through the little town of Winslow, which is between Aylesbury and Buckingham, and we're now heading into Great Horwood. This is where the lane starts. So I'm currently at 42.8 MPG. Just about to actually go through the turning for Aylesbury Engineering. So Aylesbury make pretty sporty engines for MGBs and other classic cars. Yeah, they do some rather nice stuff there. So yeah, their premises is. We gone past it? We're very near Aylesbury anyway. And I have been in their factory, and it is pretty nice, I have to say. So yeah, so the route is just coming into the village of Great Horwood in a sec. So it's not the best view around here because we're not up on a hill or down in the valleys. We're kind of in between. That's it. That's where Aylesbury are. Greenway Business Park on the right, just there. So yeah, so Great Horwood. Then we go proper cross country to a place called Thornton, which is located just off the A422 that runs between Buckingham and the north part of Milton Keynes. Actually, it's exactly where I took the Rover 220 Turbo Coupe the other day. But yeah, Great Horwood's a pretty little village. Only one pub left, unfortunately. Used to have several. Like most villages in Buckinghamshire, the pubs are gone. I'm going to ignore my sat-nav slightly because it wants to chat me up a real country lane. This single track road with grass up the middle, but I don't fancy that this morning because it's the end of the week and I've had a busy week at work and I'm tired. So we'll go this way instead. I think there might be some roadworks actually, so that actually adds a little bit more to the reality of this situation. Right, so this is the A422, runs basically Milton Keynes to Brackley. So it's one of those roads that's kind of can be fast if it's clear, but I'm just sitting at 50 because I'm behind someone with a trailer. But then I'm going to turn off now. It's the shortest route to the M1 basically. I could go Leighton Buzzard, Milton Keynes, get on the M1 at junction 14. But the problem with that is you get stuck in traffic in Milton Keynes, especially this time of the morning. What are we? 9:30, so it's still sort of back end of rush hour, and you just get stymied. I know getting stuck in traffic is kind of reality, but we're now on some proper back roads. This is going to be quite bumpy, so I won't film a lot down here because the BMW chassis doesn't like bumpy roads very much. Neither do I, but we'll just take it fairly steady. But yeah, this is basically my cut through to the M1. It's like a little 3-mile lane that just goes past Thornton. So Thornton's a tiny little village. The only thing of note there is a Catholic boarding school, Thornton College, which fairly famous to those of us in the Catholic community. But yeah, this is what it's like living around Aylesbury or middle of Buckinghamshire. These are the roads we have, and then we've got a transit in the middle of the road. Yeah, that's it. Right, so we'll get up the road a bit. I'm going to pull over, just give you a few more of my parameters, and then we shall check back in when we've got a few miles under our belts. So we've only done 15 miles so far, so we're not that far from home. Right, so now we're on the 422, so come through there pretty That road has seriously deteriorated in the last couple of months. I use this route a hell of a lot for work and for personal, but there's a parking bay up here, so I'm just going to pull in. I don't know if there's a toilet. I could do with a toilet. I had far too much tea this morning, which is a problem. It's not a problem actually, it's a very good thing, but I do like my tea in the mornings. There used to be a bacon roll wagon here. Oh, there still is. No, I'm not having a bacon roll, I'm being good. So we'll just pull in up here and I'll just go through. Bloody hell, look at these. I'll pull in the sun over there, up there, rather than behind that lorry and be all shaded. So what are my parameters? So I'm just driving normally, as I said earlier. I will use spin you round. I will use cruise control with the M1. Those of you who know the M1, I mean, I think there's 2 or 3 long stretches of roadworks where they've got average speed cameras, so you can only do 50 miles an hour. So very handy for that. Obviously, a lot of the motorway also is smart motorway, so it's got obviously that's smart motorway is not smart at all. It's just a cash generator for the government. But so you've got a lot of speed cameras. I don't know where they all are. I know some people do, and they go zooming off between the cameras and then slow right down again. Very dangerous because, of course, you're having to brake and then you end up with a load of cars braking, and this is how these tailbacks happen. But that's because people can't drive these days, especially since the pandemic. So I'll be using cruise control. There's my foot. I'm not going to be super light-footed. I'm not going to be heavy-footed. I'm not going to be doing what I normally do and blasting it along. We'll save that for tomorrow on the way back. Driving mode, I'm going to be in comfort, so that's the default setting on this, and I'm going to be in normal, just a normal drive on the gearbox. So nothing. I'm not going to be really. So I'm just going to drive normally, drive as I would say my van, rather than me driving around this car around on a Saturday afternoon having fun in it. I'm just going to drive normally. I've got to get from A to B. I'm taking this car biomorphic past its MOT in the week, but I'm going to save that for the NEC next week, which. Yeah, we'll get a few videos out of the NEC because we'll have the setup day, which is always quite good fun. And then I don't know which time I'm going to. Well, I'll be definitely on the Sunday because I've got to go and collect the car. But yes, I shall just be driving normally. I've got the trip computer. Excuse the dust. I do need to clean the inside of this car. So I've got my trip computer as well. So far, you can see hopefully you can see 44.6. That's not bad, given that. It's not been, it's pretty stop-starty. Oh, speaking of stop-start, I don't have stop-start on this car. I turn it off. It's permanently off. I don't like stop-start. I don't think it does flywheels and torque converters any good. But you can see we're going 26 minutes, done 16 miles. So it's 16 miles from my house to here. Probably got another, I don't know, 9, 10 to the M1. So what I'll do is I'll pick up with you. We'll get to sort of Watford Gappy area, and then we'll get the camera back on again and let you know how we're getting on. Because by then we'd have done a good kind of 10, 15 miles on the motorway, and we'll see where it goes up to. So remember that. So cross country, 16 miles from Aylesbury to just sort of between Buckingham and Milton Keynes, 44.6 MPG. So that's really shot up from 33.8, just because it's a decent run. And I've reset it, of course. So if I reset it and then just went around the unit and round Aylesbury, it'd be even worse. It'd be like probably sub 30. Not bad though for a 3-litre car. Well, hello there. Right, so we're now on the M1. Just hit the roadwork, so 50 miles an hour. That actually helps us massively, because of course driving a car at 50 miles an hour, your fuel economy shoots up. I just had to blast past someone, so we're now at 45.9. I was up at 47.8, but I had to blast past a couple of dickheads a minute ago who were being a bit silly on the motorway, let's put it bluntly. But sitting at 50, so I've got cruise on now. I'm at 50 on the indicator on the car, but interestingly Google Maps is telling me 48, so I probably could knock it up a couple of miles an hour. But we won't. We'll just pretend we haven't got a sat nav and just drive normally. What I'll do is I do need to stop for a pee, so I'm going to get to Watford Gap, and then which is apparently where the north of England starts, and then I shall we'll have a little look at the instrument pack, and we'll have a little look at the M1, and then I'll probably just get up to Yorkshire, to be honest, and give you a bit of a summary as to how the journey's gone. But yeah, now we're at 50, 46.2. the consumption's gone up to. So just, it's amazing. That blast up to, I'll be honest, 90 miles an hour, that just destroyed the MPG. So if I drove it in that kind of spirited fashion that I often drive this car in, then that's what would happen to your MPG. So let's get a bit further up the road and see how we're getting on in a minute. Right, so Watford Gap service, just got a coffee. You know what I've done as well. So about a third of the way into the journey. So if we have a look at the, put you past the other little camera. So we're at 48.2. So that little burst of 50 miles an hour, I don't know how, what would it be, pretty about 8 miles. It really lifts. It just shows you how, if you drive at 50 miles an hour, your fuel economy goes up. And that was with cruise control as well. So I'm going to get my way up the road. We'll have a little check-in while we're on the journey up. We'll sort of check in when we're sort of about 2/3 of the way through the journey, rather than continual, unless we see something interesting on the way. If I start following an interesting car or something like that, then I'll get it on film as well. But we'll get up country a bit and then see how our fuel economy is getting on. Right, so about 50 miles to go. The 50 MPG is up, as you can see there. Use cruise control. We're currently sitting at 70, as you can see. That shows cruise controls on. I can adjust slightly like so. One thing I'm just wondering about, on the old BMWs, this sort of economy gauge was vacuum operated. I'm thinking this is electronic, because this seems to be a lot more accurate. I would be well north of 50 if we hadn't got, there's Bradgate Hills. We're coming out of Leicester to go up to Colville, that direction. You've got quite a long, steady hill. So that was a bit, yeah, the MPG really dropped off there, but yeah, it's doing really well. I'll tell you, this car is so good on long drives. It's just so comfy. I barely know I'm doing, you know, sitting here, cruise control on, nice automatic gearbox. Sun's coming out. What does it say on there? 8 degrees, so it is warming up. But yeah, on the M1, just north of East Midlands Airport now, and someone's going far too slowly in this lane. But yeah, so what I'll do, we'll get up country, get to Wortley Hall, and then we'll conclude. We'll see where that ends up. So if we're 50 MPG, we've covered, what says it on there, 88 miles. We've got another 53 to go. So yeah, made good time. Luckily the traffic's actually been really good today. I hope I'm not speaking too soon. But yeah, M1 it's the most boring road in the world. This is the least favourite part of coming up north, is the M1, because it's I haven't got time to go A roads, and but it's just so dull. It really is. So let's get up to Yorkshire and see where the 330d ends up MPG wise. So there we are, just over 130 miles covered, 50.4, 50.5 MPG. What's really impressive is an eighth of a tank of fuel used. So that's, I can't quite work that out in terms of litres, but that's not a lot of fuel for that amount of journey. So you've got a car, the summary is, you've got a car that's got M3 beating amounts of torque. Okay, top speed and actual brake horsepower, you know, the M3's a bit faster. But you've got a car that you can drive in a sporty fashion, but equally you've got a car that you can drive not sedately, but just normally, just drive it. I drove normally. I did put my foot down a couple of times. Obviously a lot of my journey, the first half an hour, 40 minutes of my journey is on bad roads, windy roads, a lot of braking, a lot of having to accelerate. M1 going north, you've got a lot of hills coming out of Leicester, big climb. Once you get past Nottingham, you've got big climbs over several hills. So to get 50.5 is really, really good. The one thing I will say is cruise control's always on. So if you remember back to the economy gauge on the underside of the rev counter, you've got a blue zone basically where the car's cruising and you're not using much fuel at all. That won't go into that zone on cruise control. So I'm wondering if you can get even better MPG by actually driving it manually. Who knows? Maybe we'll do that in another video another time. But for now, 330d, if you want a car that's economical yet can be fun when you want it to be, it's good. That's why I've got this car. Let's be honest about it. That's why I bought this car, because it's a car that you can do motorway cruising in and be very comfortable and not spend a lot of money on fuel. But if you want to have a good bit of fun, or if you're into track days, these cars are ideal. There we go, 50.5 MPG from the 330d. If you're thinking of getting one and it's the fuel's what it's about, then there's a recommendation. But we're up here now, beautiful South Yorkshire countryside outside Wortley Hall. I'm going to be meeting up with Simon from Smashing Pistons in a moment. And I shall see you again very soon next episode of Beers and Bangers. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share with your friends and drop a comment down below. Goodbye.